Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Babies with Knives. I'm your hostess, Alice Pang, aka Lala Twiddle, on the boards. With me tonight is going to be a guest panel and a guest GM. We have, for our guest GM, Gerry Saracco of Soul Taker Studios. Hello. And with us, playing with us tonight will be Wilfredo. I actually don't know your last name, Wilfredo.
Martinez.
Wilfredo Martinez, thank you. And we have Timothy Kirk and Timothy Lamaster. This evening we are going to be playing a game called Simply Supers. It is a 7-page pay what you want product from DriveThruRPG. We will be putting the link down in the description. There's also a little character creation segment we just did prior to this that you can go check out. I'll make sure there's a link. And Gerry, why don't you take us away?
Okay, so I was going to start off just by, for our viewers, going over the basic dice mechanic for the game. So the game uses pools of D6s. It all depends on if you're a superhero or what's known as a masked vigilante, which is Batman or Iron Man type characters, using either your abilities, gadgets, or superpowers. And each ability has a dice pool assigned to it. So, for example, if you had a character with super strength of 3d6, you would go ahead and roll 3d6, and if you get a 6, you've succeeded. Any additional 6 will add +1 to that roll, and then it will...
To a maximum of only adding once, though. If you roll 4d6s and all 4 come up as 6s, though, you still only get 1, so it's a max 7.
Yep.
Okay, just wanted that clarified because you can roll 4d6s in this game.
Well, actually, it could if your powers can go up to 5.
Yep.
So you can get up to 5d6.
Exactly.
So,
I'm sorry. Please continue. Didn't mean to throw you off. I apologize.
No, actually, the rules do say that each extra 6 adds +1 to the result. So you could technically get more, but I mean, anything past 7 really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's just, but you could get, more than that. But anyway, so that's the base dice mechanic. We covered some stuff in character creation, but I'm going to just review again that all characters have 2 stats. You have toughness, and then you have either resistance or stress. Toughness is equivalent to, for those of you who know D&D and such, it's like hit points. You only take damage if you take a critical hit. If you do not take a critical hit, you do not take any damage off your toughness. Resistance is is the way you protect against your weakness. Whatever your weakness is, if you have superpowers, your resistance is how long you can be in the presence of that before you're removed from action. If you are someone who's a vigilante or an armored character type, you have stress, and that's usually more of mental and emotional damage that will take you out of action when you deal with things such as having your loved ones put in jeopardy, having your secret identity revealed, being attacked by have someone hunting you show up to remove you from the main action. Okay, so now that I've gone into that, let's go ahead and just introduce our characters one more time for our audience, and then we'll go ahead and start. Tim K.
Gerry, before you go, do you mind if I cover something about the engine?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is what's considered an if and but engine. There are a couple games out there that have this engine, including Ghost Echo. How this works is that when we put in that 1 through 7 on our successes, one's going to be a no and, meaning that when I roll a 1, I botch, I critically fail. I then declare myself or the GM or a combination of us declare 2 negative additional things that happen to us, to me, because I rolled the 1. This happens in combat as well as out of combat. When you get into the mid ranges, you get at 4, I think I'd have to double check the chart, but at 3 or 4, you'll get yes if yes if means when I would succeed, but the GM then tells me, for example, if I'm going to punch someone, and the GM says, well, you can succeed that if you're willing to fall into the gutter and take a penalty for that in your next round. If I choose to at that point accept that, I will then say yes, I will take the if. Otherwise, I can say I choose the failure. At the higher echelons of it, you get yes, yes buts, and then yes ands. Yes ands at the top of it, the echelons of the numbers mean that I and or the GM decide how critically successful it is because I succeeded plus positive things happen in addition. This is the if and but engine that is in a lot of different systems. And it is going to be a collaboration between the GM and the player for each if and or but. That's an important mechanic engine for this. So I apologize for that. Please continue.
Oh, okay. Well, just to clarify, it's from 4 is yes if.
Thank you. Yes.
Everything
if,
under that, everything under that is no or no and such.
Yeah,
and,
I'm pulling up my page right now. Now I have it.
Yeah, and the game rules do clarify what each result is if you decide to pick up the game. Also, a GM can assign a difficulty to make things harder. Usually, that's from a -1 to a -4, and that will, of course, will depend upon the situation.
And that removes your total dice pool. So if you've got a superpower of 4 and the GM declares it to be hard, you lose 1 die, meaning you now have 3 dice for your superpower. So that's the core engine, but the if and but engine is a very important aspect of this engine. It is the whole way that this runs besides the fact that we're rolling d6s. So I wanted to get that covered real quick for our audience. So Gerry, why don't you start pointing out who you want to intro themselves?
Okay, so Tim K, go ahead and introduce your character.
I am playing Stormheart. He is the champion of nature and humankind. He's been imbued with his powers by an elemental spirit that had driven a hurricane into his path, and it rescued him from death so long as he would accept the role as champion to aid humanity in growing better in terms of environment and within them.
Okay, Alice?
I will be playing Mirage. When I was young, I fell very ill. I was then given the belief that I could do whatever I wanted for a lot of my life. My parents didn't give me any rules because, well, she's terminal, she's going to die, and things got kind of wacky for me. When I was really ill, I ended up with a mysterious transfusion of blood or some sort of cells that was supposed to fix me. And in the process, it gave me superpowers. I am a mentalist with the ability to phase shift.
Okay. Tim L, sorry.
Okay, my name is Protector. I'm a mass vigilante. My tagline: I'm the most disciplined man in the world. Basically, a martial artist who fights crime because he sees crime as being a disorder on society, and it needs to be corrected. He's very strict, very disciplined kind of individual, and perfectionist, as well as a basically a street fighter. I wear body armor and basically try to work with the authorities to defeat criminals. I also have some corrupt police officers who I weaken their whole city, and they're out to get me. So I that's pretty much it. I'm also kind of a jerk at times. Anyone who's ever worked with a hardcore perfectionist knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay, Wilfredo, go ahead and introduce your character.
My character is the Traveler. His real name is Simon Jones. and he's a human from another universe. He was granted cosmic powers by a cosmic being who wanted to explore the multiverse but could not leave its own universe. So the traveler explores the multiverse in its place and reports everything he finds and basically he can travel across dimensions, change shape, and speak any language. And his weakness is that he has to keep a secret that he's an alien out of fear of being a target by an organization that want to exploit him.
Okay. All right, so now that we've introduced the characters, what I'm going to do is have it that you all have worked together in the past. So that way, instead of the typical, have you all just show up at a crime scene, and you have a decent relationship with the authorities. Protectors is a little bit more strained because of his thing, and at this point, you have been contacted by the local police because they want you to help out with a situation involving this corporation known as Palin Industries. It's a large mega corporation run by a man named Thomas Palin. He has developed a lot of high-tech equipment for the U.S. government. His son is actually a superhero in his own right. He's also he wears a suit of powered armor, calls himself Glare, and he's got a facility here in the city, and he's concerned because there's a villain who goes by the name of Lighthouse, who has made it clear that he was going to destroy this facility because it makes weapons for the military, high-tech weaponry, not just normal weapons. He's been supposedly developing laser weaponry that the Army is going to be using, and Lighthouse is the kind of villain who believes that high-tech weaponry should not be in the hands of the military, should not be mass-produced because of the damage that it will cause in collateral damage to people and such. He's considered a bit of a crackpot. What little you know about him is that he has a high-tech suit of armor of his own. None of you have ever encountered him, but you've all heard of him. And so basically, Palin Industries, they have their own private security, but the problem is that they're more along the lines of a private military contractor. So the local authorities would want you to step in because they're worried that if their security steps in, it's going to turn into a big gun battle, and they want to try to avoid that.
Okay.
Do you guys have any questions from the police or?
I'll walk out to the police officer in charge, who is the highest ranking member of the force at the moment on a crime scene.
Well, you're actually at a police station. You're not at a crime scene.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So I like to get a file. I like to see a file on this alleged supervillain.
In the police officer's mind, he hears, does the CEO? Sorry, I'm trying to find the character's voice. In the police officer's mind, he hears, and are they aware that you haven't contacted us?
No, because the Paladin Security is the name of the security firm that belongs to Palin Industries, and they made it clear that the police are not welcome there. They contacted you on their own because since it is in their jurisdiction and you've worked with them before, they're hoping that you can help minimize any collateral damage that might occur because it's pretty certain he's going to show up. When Lighthouse says he's going to do something to a corporation that makes weapons, he follows through on it. So they know he's going to show up. It's just a matter of when and how much damage is going to get caused in the process. because of the trigger-happy security forces that they employ.
And in the officer's mind, do you have schematics on the building?
They do, and actually he lays it on the table for you all. This was the plans that were presented before the building was constructed.
So it is likely incorrect.
He was actually going to say that. He says he doesn't know what changes they may or may not have made. They have done upgrades to the facility and haven't filed papers recently. But this is what they know. This facility specifically makes the energy cells that are supposed to power the laser weapons that their corporation is building. So what happens is the rifles are manufactured at another plant. They're shipped here. They're fitted with the power cells, and then they're shipped somewhere else. And they do know that there's a shipment coming in of these prototype rifles that need to have the power cells put in. And they figure that sometime after those arrive, they expect Lighthouse to probably make his move.
Do your detectives know where the CEO's assistant has lunch?
I have a question.
Sure.
Is Paladin Security and the Paladin Corporation aware that laser weapons for use in contradicted by the United Nations?
Well,
the
given
United States does not recognize the jurisdiction of the United Nations, and thus neither do their corporations.
He pretty much answered it. Yeah, so remember, these are prototype weapons. They're not in distribution yet, but they're prototypes that they're making for the U.S. military. And again, the U.S. military, the United States, believes that it doesn't need to answer to the UN on this.
And again, detective, do any of your detectives know where the CEO's assistant takes her lunch?
Well, the CEO actually doesn't operate in this city. His home base is in Los Angeles. There's a plant manager.
Wonderful. And the plant manager's assistant, where does he or she take his lunch?
That he doesn't know, but it shouldn't be too hard to find out. All they got to do is station someone outside the plant and see when the person leaves to go to lunch.
Wonderful.
You might also check her Instagram or her Twitter. Or his. Could be either way. Do we know this person's name?
Yes, her name is Andrea Martin. You said the CEO's assistant, right?
The
plant manager's
assistant. Yes.
Yeah. So her name is Andrea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm never speaking out loud, by the way. It's always in everyone's mind. In the detective's mind, he hears, may I borrow your computer?
Oh, sure. He slides the laptop over to you.
I was about to ask you that.
And see if I can find where she is going to have lunch, and if she has any upcoming plans after work today, etc.
Okay, so you go check out her social media, and you see that she happens to frequent this food cart that makes crepes.
Great.
And the timestamp on her uploads from whenever she goes there seems to be around 2:00 in the afternoon.
What time is it now?
It's about noon.
Well, it seems I have a lunch date. If you'll excuse me, gentlemen. I leave.
Be careful.
Do the rest of you have any questions from the police or anything?
How volatile? The power cells that are coming in the shipment, how volatile?
That's information that we don't have. They would not give us any information. All we know is that there's some kind of laser weapon prototypes, and anything else they said that due to the fact that they're being made under contract for the U.S. government. They can't reveal that information because of we don't have the proper clearances.
I have a question. Do we have a visual general appearance of what Lighthouse looks like?
Are you
Yes,
guys,
Anyone ever gotten a photograph
are you
of it?
guys talking through the mind link, by the way, or are you guys just talking out loud? I don't care either way. I just need to know if I'm in this conversation or not as I left.
Well, I'm directly with
I'm
him
talking to the
specifically,
Okay.
so no, not in the mind at the moment. But I will refer to you. I'm looking for pictures, so hang on.
Okay,
I
so
wasn't,
yes,
when I was talking to him mentally, I wasn't speaking to any of you, but you guys were interacting, so I just decided, we're all mind linked then.
I have a question for the police. Does this villain have any particular modus operandi that we know of? Like, does he rely on explosives, on minions, or does he like to just show up himself to do his own dirty job?
Well, Stormheart asked if they had any pictures of him, and the police do. This is a picture of him. Well, I'm uploading it now. So you guys see that?
He's
Yes.
Okay, so that's Lighthouse. He wears a suit of powered armor that he built himself. What is known about his capabilities is that he projects intense light, like laser beams, blinding lights. Of course, the armor provides him protection, and the gauntlets actually have grappling hooks on them. He doesn't fly. He has like these very thick steel cables with grappling hooks that he uses to travel.
I'm sorry, what's his name?
His name is Lighthouse, like a lighthouse.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, I
multitasking. The information, he does have a rap sheet because the police do know him. Basically, he was a scientist who worked in optics, and he worked for Palin Industries, and he developed laser technology that they co-opted into these prototype lasers, which is why he's going against them. He was developing lasers for use in surgery and stuff like that, for mining purposes, all non-lethal methods. And then Palin Industries, of course, saw this as how could we turn it into a weapon? That's what they did. And he had a falling out, was fired. And so he basically developed this armor so he can destroy not only his technology, but any other kind of technology that was designed for non-lethal purposes. Anytime it's repurposed for weaponry, he goes after it to destroy it, so that he can prevent it to be used to hurt people. He's not known to target civilians or anything, but he is considered a terrorist by the U.S. government, which is why he's considered a villain.
Trying to bring disorder to an ordered society. He has to be stopped for the good of everyone. For the good of the system.
I don't know. The order is not necessarily one that is safe and protected. They're trying to create weapons which are violent, which is ultimately chaotic.
Normally he does operate by himself. He doesn't usually work with anyone. He does have connections with groups that are against using advanced technology and weaponry, but usually those kind of groups don't commit acts of terror. And they usually.
Has he ever injured or killed anyone, any government people?
Well, he's always tried not to do anything around civilians. Usually he attacks a facility, and normally he does it when there's the least amount of people there. He will not attack while they're in the middle of doing like manufacturing or something. He does not. He tries to use non-lethal methods. Like his laser weaponry does not kill people; it only stuns people. He does use a lot of light effects that blind people, so that they cannot, like if he encounters, say, a security guard, he'll blind them, so that they won't be able to see him and shoot at him, and that way he doesn't have to worry about a confrontation escalating. But
Okay.
most of his attacks take place at night when most of the staff is gone. Now, on the other side, though, since he mainly targets Paladin Industries, he has put members of Paladin security in the hospital because, unlike normal security, these guys are heavily armed, and defending facilities, they tend to hit him with a lot of firepower because of his armored suit.
Okay.
I mean, they normally carry the equivalent of like submachine guns and assault rifles, and at least in another city, they used a anti-tank weapon on him, which caused considerable collateral damage. And he did blow up a vehicle, put at least 4 of their guards in the hospital. He's actually done interviews with the press, and he has repeatedly, he's fully admitted that he's responsible for hurting people, but he also points out that if they didn't attack him the way they did, he wouldn't have had to respond in kind. He usually tries to find the least damaging way of doing things. But again, because he targets these facilities and their connection with the government, because Paladin has many contracts with the U.S. government, not just for the military, but also for civilian aspect. They've also devised equipment for like local law enforcement. Most of the flak vests that they wear were designed by Paladin Industries and stuff. So because of their connections, they got him labeled as a terrorist.
Okay.
I want to point out that Traveler is not exactly happy to have to help a company that makes weapons of war. He almost can see where Lighthouse is coming from. The only reason he agrees with coming along in this mission is that he gets the impression that the man is, going too far, and even if there is a slight chance that innocent could be hurt, then he simply cannot be allowed to do what he does. So yeah, he's a terrorist. He has to be stopped.
Yeah, there are less violent ways of going protesting.
Mm-hmm.
We must make sure that he is kept safe as well as others from harm. They're both important. He cannot serve for any crimes he has committed if he is harmed. Too great.
Okay. Any other questions of the police?
No.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so just got to wait for Alice to come back so we can.
Oh, I'm here.
Go ahead. Okay, so they're done with the police, so we can go ahead and do what you wanted to do, Alice.
Great.
With Mirage.
I am going to go and bump into Andrea Martin for lunch.
Okay.
Before I do so, I'm going to find out what the people at the plant, the non-uniformed people at the plant tend to wear, so I'm going to dress up or dress down a little bit in my clothes, trying to change that. So if it's business casual, I'll wear business casual. If it's if I'm supposed to have work boots or something, I'll put on some work boots. That kind of thing. Before I go.
Well, you see they dress pretty casual. You see most of the workers wearing like jeans and stuff. You do see that some of them are wearing coveralls and stuff.
Okay.
But like when you see there are of course people dress more in like business casual.
Okay.
Like when you see Andrea come out for lunch, she's
business
wearing business casual, because she's more administrative.
Yep, which is great. I'm going to mentally change the way I look to dress business casual, and I am going to approach her.
All right.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot breakfast again. My hours have just been so crazy, Andrea. I don't know how you keep up. Um, what are you getting this afternoon? I'm starving. What's your favorite?
Oh,
Oh,
the turkey and avocado is just fantastic.
turkey and avocado. I'll have one of that. And make Andrea's on me.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
But I mean, I just wanted to thank you for all the nice things you've done for me this week. You've made it the best first week on the job ever. And I'm going to subtly implant my name as as a new hire in her mind. My name is Lizzie Maddox, and she is going to. I'm just going to subtly, and she's going to be like, "Oh yeah, Lizzie, of course."
Okay. Let's go ahead and have you roll for that.
Sure thing. I have a 5. So on a 5, that's a yes, but.
Yes. Okay. So, what would you say? What did you try to implant in her name?
That my name is Lizzie Maddox. I'm a new hire, and that I just started work here.
Okay. So she's like Lizzie. Oh, I don't.
I'm gonna say the but is that I am actually working in a section of the plant at that point that is looked down upon, and people of the hierarchy in the job generally tend to try and avoid us because and look down on the department. Figure out what department
Okay.
that is. That's fine.
She's
But
like, she's like, oh, Lizzie. Oh, yeah. I do remember you. Well, I'm
HR.
glad you're.
Yeah. No. How about this? I just got hired on in HR, and everybody hates HR. Right?
Oh yeah.
Everybody hates HR. So
Like,
she's
yeah,
kind of suddenly a little bit more nervous around me than I wanted her to be. I'm on HR
like,
now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm glad you're settling in HR. Yeah. And then see the guy after she's like trying to like not really talk to you. She's like stumbling on her words, and then finally the guy comes with your 2 crepes,
Mm-hmm.
and
I am as basically if she's distracted at this point and trying to basically make just busy talk and trying to disengage once the lunch that I'm buying her arrives, I'm going to take that opportunity and I'm going to delve into her mind. I'm going to pull up schematics, try and get a layout of the building, because based on her position, she would have a better understanding of the building than most people would.
okay.
And while I'm at it, also I want to see basically if she knows any secrets that the plant manager is keeping from the general populace of employees, like that there is this secret monster being kept under the plant or something. I don't know, but anything that she knows that her boss would be shameful of people knowing, I'm gonna try and pull that up. So I can roll another roll if you'd like.
Okay, and I was going to say that since you did get into her mind earlier, I'm going to go ahead and give you a +1.
Sure. So I roll 5d6 now. I have a 6. So 6 is a straight yes, no and, no but, no if.
Right. So, from what you can see in her mind, the schematics are pretty much the same. There is looks like they added a smaller storeroom where they're storing, which from what you can tell from her mind is the where they store the power cells. And one thing you do know is that she saw some paperwork earlier before she came out to lunch that the power cells, that 10% of them are faulty and have a tend to overcharge and explode.
And it is being hidden from the people that would shut them down, I assume.
Well, basically, the plant manager had a video conference call with Mr. Palin himself, and he told them not to worry about it. They'll be fixed. They'll be fixed at a later date. Those specifically defective ones are put in a second reinforced container inside that vault.
Okay.
But she is skeptical.
Yeah, I was
that
gonna ask
that
about that.
considering the amount that they have in the container, there's at least 100 in there. That she's worried that if Lighthouse does attack the facility and he gets in there to destroy them, his laser-based technology will ignite the power cells, and the explosive power will probably wipe out half the city block that the building is on.
Okay.
And and the thing is that another thing in her mind that you realize is that she said if we had followed the schematics that Lighthouse had designed, this wouldn't be a problem, but they changed it because they thought they could improve on his technology. And it's like, you can see she's kind of torn about turning this into weapons, because you can see in her mind that she knows quite a bit about what the original technology was for. And this plant was originally built to make surgical lasers based on Lighthouse's designs. And when they repurposed it to making power cells for laser weaponry, she wasn't very happy. But then they gave her a 10% pay increase, and she kind of kept her dissension to herself.
Okay.
And a lot of the plant workers don't know that they have that many defective power cells. There's the shift foremans know, and of course the plant manager knows. She knows, and a couple of the people in charge of overseeing the computer programming stuff and everything that checks them for checks them after they're made for defects. They know. So there's only about a dozen people at the plant that know, but everyone else doesn't. Even the Paladin security people do not know that these things are defective. This was a need to know basis within the company, and all those people were deemed not needing to know.
Okay.
And what else did you want to find out? You said something about if there was any secrets or something.
Anything that her boss doesn't want people to know, which that already partially covers. That the boss doesn't want people to know that they're needing to deal with this cover-up and doing things that are against their original mandate.
So pretty much what I just told you is pretty much the most relevant information for you.
Okay.
About the defective power cells. But
hey, Andrea, maybe you can help me with something. I got some really weird paperwork. Hey, can we go over there and eat? Just over there, point away from where the crowd would be. I have some question about some paperwork, and I figured that you'd be the best person to help me.
Well, I kind of am on my lunch break right now, so I don't really like talking business when I'm trying to enjoy my lunch. This is my time to get away from the plant. Maybe we could talk later?
Oh, definitely. I'm sorry. Well, I just wanted to thank you again, Andrea, for being so amazing to me all week. I mean, not everyone's nice to people from HR. I mean, people just kind of run from me. But you talk to me, and you're so nice to me, so thank you. I really appreciate it. You've made it a really pleasant, really great first week.
Oh, well, yeah, you're welcome, and thank you for the crepe. I appreciate it.
It's the least I could do for being so welcoming to me. I mean, I thought this move was going to be so much worse. Though I do need to try and figure out how to get up in time so I can actually have breakfast. I'm so hungry. You're right, this crepe is amazing. Wait, is this actually vegan bacon? How'd they make it taste this good?
I have no clue.
I'll just at that point slowly let her disengage from me, and I will, go eat and disappear, basically. Leave.
Okay, and she goes off and sits down on a bench and eats her food, and you could see there was a little sweat on her brow when she finally got away from you, like she was trying.
Because
she
nobody
really
liked HR.
Yeah, she's like, I don't really want to hang out with.
Vegan bacon. What the hell is that? That's like a violation of nature.
I'm going to be doing a search for places that White House has been spotted in the past. Just flying, a little bit of a patrol while staying in touch with everybody, since we have somebody on the inside.
Okay, well, he hasn't really done much in this city. He tends to go to different cities. He never stays in one place, and targets different facilities. So this is like the first time he's been here, because he recently found out about what they're doing at the plant there. Because originally they were like I had told Mirage's character, the original purpose of the plant was to develop power cells that were going to be used in surgical lasers of different types and like mining equipment and things like that. And then when Palin Industries developed this prototype weapon, they repurposed this facility to make power cells for it, and other kinds of energized weaponry. But I mean, if you want a list of places, they do have a list of all the places he's targeted in the past. Most of them have been Palin Industries, but there are other companies he's targeted.
Okay. Have there been any common theme or motive? I mean, we know he's attacking for a reason. We've seen that motive. But is there any, plan that he seems to have consistently used repeatedly? Like, just show up and attack? Or does he prefer to attack at night? Does he have a modus operandi?
Yeah, he mostly attacks at night.
Asked that earlier.
Yeah, well, just to reiterate, he does attack mostly at night when there are less people at the facility, because he does try to minimize collateral damage. He has hurt some people, mostly by accident. He tries not to hurt the people that work there. The most people that he's hurt were security forces, because they tend to engage him to try to stop him.
Heavily armed and armored.
Yeah, usually it's been the Paladin security. They provide all security for Palin Industries facilities, but they have two groups. You have regular security guards, like you would see from regular security companies, except that these are all armed guards with handguns. And then they have the more heavily armored guys, because they also act as a private military contractor. So, and they brought in a unit of these guys to this facility here, and these guys are all ex-military, so they're heavily armored. Hold on, I got a picture of them. Let me go pull that up. So just so you can see what these guys look like, so you'll see that they're not the kind of guys that you want to run into if you didn't have superpowers. Find it here real quick.
Yeah, they're bad people in general, and in a certain aspect, not necessarily evil, just
right.
Threatening.
But they're definitely very competent, highly trained. So this is this is what the typical appearance of one of their heavily armored guys from the more militarized part of the company. So as you can see, they wear a lot of heavy body armor, carry assault rifles. They, drive around in armored Humvees and stuff.
Question.
Sure.
Uh, the Paladin Industries armor and weapons, are they known to be gear that is made by Paladin Industries?
Yes, because they do make arms for the military, like for special forces and stuff.
Hmm.
It's not the same kind of weapon that's used by uh, the regular troops. Like they don't use M16s. They have their own brand of assault rifle
Hmm.
and sidearm, and the body armor is made by the company as well. Um, and they do sell that body armor to the military. So basically, everything that Paladin Security has is basically, think of them as like they field test everything they make for the
Right, for
government.
themselves. Yep.
Yeah, so they use it. They use it
And
first.
a lot of them are probably ex-military as well, going private sector.
Well, like the guys in the image I posted are. They do have regular run of the mill security guards, like regular security companies have.
Hmm.
So those people could be from any walk of life. And the normal security at the plant are guys in just regular uniforms, not wearing body armor and stuff. And they just carry pistols. But because of the threat of Lighthouse, they sent a team of these heavily armored guys to deal with him because they have experience, at other facilities fighting against him. There's at least 2 occasions where they actually were able to prevent him from completing what he was trying to do. Like he tried to destroy something and he didn't fully succeed because they were able to drive him off. Again, that's because they were using anti-armor weapons on him,
Hmm.
which had a little bit of blowback with the local government in the city because like you're using high anti-tank rounds in a city.
So their
But
legality is questionable at best
well,
for
yes, but
operating in
they
the city.
they did. The thing is, like, whenever they cause collateral damage, the parent company, Paladin Industries, pays to repair or replace buildings. They pay for anyone injured. They pay their hospital bills.
And Palin,
They
and Palin probably is a very, very large lobbying force if they have such major
Yeah.
contracts with the government. So they are basically
Like,
untouchable.
oh yeah, and they
yeah.
also and they also do still make like surgical lasers and stuff, and they do have a lot of ties with the medical community. So and they do sponsor like stuff at local hospitals. So they have a lot of good PR. So like when stuff like this happens, and the fact that they're willing to pay everyone's hospital bills, and they actually give them money while they're not working and stuff like that because they've got a lot of money. The guy,
I,
think of this guy,
I,
think of Paladin Industries as like Stark Industries,
uh-huh.
but with like a darker bent because they're like if Tony Stark didn't stop making weapons.
I just watched Adam Hanover, Adam Conover ruins doing good. So, given that, this is making me want to giggle right now. I just watched the episode of Adam Conover ruins doing good. If anybody here's watched that, you'll know what I mean about this.
No, I'll be right back. I gotta go rescue it.
I haven't watched any Adam ruins everything. I do like him.
I don't let him ruin good for me, believe me. I have a quick question. That information that Mirage obtained about the defective power batteries, did she share it with the rest of us via the mind link?
Did you, Mirage?
Did I what? I'm sorry, I couldn't.
Oh, he wanted to know if you shared the information you got from Andrea Martin
I
about
haven't
the
yet.
defective power cell.
I am going to, but I haven't yet. I'm waiting on Tim wanted to do something
Okay.
immediately.
Hmm.
Since Tim's AFK, I can go over some of the stuff that I went. So MindLink goes back up, and you guys start seeing images going through your minds of the building, the inside of the building, and walking through the halls and such like that. You guys start basically seeing images of the different rooms and offices and starting to feel like you walked in the halls yourselves and feel the layout as we go. And then I tell you guys in your minds, It seems that information is as compartmentalized as I expected. They have a great deal of things to hide, including the fact that whatever is being targeted tonight, I believe, will be in the this specific vault. And you guys see the image. It seems that there was a large number of defective power cells that are explosive in nature, unstable, like wet C4, as someone used to say, that I knew.
What? Oh, how explosive!
Like wet C4, I think is what my friend used to say. I don't know if wet C4 is actually explosive. It was just a
Means
saying he used to use.
they need an ignition of.
Oh no!
Yeah, wet dynamite is dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah, I know what it is, but my character is just reacting to the news that the situation is worse than it first appeared, because now the entire city block is in danger. And he's basically saying, well, now we have got to do something, because if we don't stop him, lots of people are going to die. We need a plan. What are we going to do?
Okay.
I can get inside.
Yeah. What was the game master's name again? I forgot.
Jerry.
Oh, Jerry. I'm gonna go where they're making the shipment. And I'm gonna try to look at the area. You know, I'm pretty smart, and I'll look over all and see where the shipment's coming from. Where they're gonna basically, is it coming from land or from sea?
It's going to be delivered by a 18-wheeler.
Land, yeah.
Okay. So, basically, what I'm trying to do is figure out if I was a terrorist, where would I attack? You know, this shipment, because he said he's going to do it, but he didn't say how. Now, is it in inner city? Is it along a coastline or what?
In your mind, you hear. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Tim's never related that information to me, so never mind.
I'm relaying any important information I need, but
Okay. In that case, in your mind, you hear. If Lighthouse deems it worthy to attack at night, the shipment will already have transported. I don't believe scouting an entrance might be the best approach.
You gonna try to attack it en route?
Well,
no, I believe that we will need to find when. Well, I think Lizzie needs to go find out when this transport arrives. Because if you're saying that we are going to stop the transport, rather than stop Lighthouse, that is two very different aspects of the mission.
Well, just to clarify, what the police know is that the rifles themselves at this point are useless without the power cells. So what they're doing is they're shipping the rifles from where they're manufactured here, and then they're going to attach the power cells to them.
Right.
Oh,
so,
the power cells are here.
Yeah.
Right.
And
the power cells are here.
Are unstable, and that's the issue, which is what I told you guys would be what I'm guessing. The Lighthouse's reason for wanting to attack and steal stuff, because he wants to get rid of the unstable 10%.
No, he didn't know about it.
Oh, okay, he didn't know. Well, Lighthouse doesn't know about it in theory. We don't know.
Yeah,
Lighthouse is attacking these power cells, or targeting these power cells in theory.
Well, here's the thing. Where are the cells being held now?
I showed you guys an image of where they're going to be held.
How secure is the facility?
I can get it.
Because I'm thinking he's going to wait until they bring the weapons here, so they have to open up whatever these are in. So if he's smart, which he appears to be, like I said, I was him, I'd wait until the guns got here, and then they would have to basically open up the area where it's happening.
What's your character's name, Tim?
Loading the gun. They wouldn't do it now, but you could probably it's probably in some secure location with 8 inches of steel and security devices and everything. He probably waited that
Tim,
weak moment where he can attack when everything's open. He can leap in. So what I want to do
am
is
I
figure
coming
out,
through?
okay, where's the ship?
I can hear you.
Okay. Tim, you
Where's the
asked
ship?
you asked how
Where,
secure this place is, and I immediately answered, I can get in and out. I don't think you heard me though.
oh.
So
So it's not that. So not only they got defective energy cells, they have crappy security.
you know that my power is to phase shift, so I can literally phase my way through the building.
Okay, let's say you're not somebody who can phase shift. You're just some guy in a suit that, as far as you know, can't do that. What, you know, it's somebody like me or somebody that regular Joe, or even somebody in powered armor. How secure? You know what I mean? Like, would he be
So,
able to just smash
protector.
the wall in, or would there be like
Protector.
anything preventing him? I'm trying to figure out a
Per-
time. I'm trying to figure out where he's going to strike when he gets here. So I know what
Perhaps
to
rather
watch out
than
for.
focusing on when he's going to strike, maybe we should take away his target. If I can get in, I can unlock it from the inside. The rest of you can come in, unload it, get it out. I believe, I believe the traveler can actually transport it out of the vicinity. At which point we can wait for Lighthouse to strike. Whenever he does strike, he will have an empty vault with us waiting inside.
Okay, so but let me
Cool, yes.
That
offer
makes a
suggestion.
sensible plan to me. The idea, though, is we know that they are unstable power cells at this point,
Yes.
thanks
Which makes
to Mirage.
transportation
So we want to
challenging.
keep them out of range of anybody attacking or doing any damage, especially since we know there are some that are unstable. We want to get them removed from the scene entirely.
Which is why I said we should have them transported out of the vault entirely. Have all of it removed so that
Right.
there is absolutely nothing for Lighthouse to attack. And in its
Agreed.
place, we are inside, we are waiting. When Lighthouse comes for the power cells, he finds us instead.
It occurs to me that these cells could also be used as evidence of Paladin's dirty dealings. Of the problem being of that we can just, superheroes are not policemen. You need a warrant to obtain evidence, otherwise it cannot be accepted in a court of law.
Traveler,
So,
two things about what you said. One, Palin is the company. Paladins are their security force. Second, the company is the company has law enforcement in their pockets. If we do go to law enforcement, they're simply going to go over the local enforcement, whoever is in the up and up, and get things overturned through the federal level if they need to. Our concern right now is to get the power. So simply going and getting a warrant and showing them power cells isn't going to get us very far. That's my concern.
Mirage, may I also make mention of the fact that the police officer did mention that we were asked to step in to prevent Lighthouse from causing harm.
No, we were not.
And we are doing.
We were not.
We're not.
The police officer said we are persona non grata. We the good guys are persona non grata. So we're hiring you guys to come in on the down low and leave us out of it. Therefore, they can't go above our heads and say that we disobeyed orders. We are to be disavowed if we f up.
I misunderstood the way.
That's correct, right, Jerry?
Stated.
We are Mission Impossible. We're to be disavowed because Paladin said we don't want you here, and we'll pull strings if you start messing with us.
Well, that's what they told the police.
Right.
That's why the police went to you.
Yep.
Because while you work with the police, you're not.
We're not
part of the police force.
Right. We don't have to answer to the cops, and therefore we're not. We're like we are disavowable. So if we go and do something, we mess up, the cops can say, I had no idea they went and did that.
Yeah.
Right. Well, but on the flip side though is if you do it in a very good fashion, succeed in stopping him, you know they're going to take the credit. Say yes, you know we
So
work
yes,
with
we are
these heroes.
100% Mission Impossible.
Oh
We
yeah.
are the people that go in, we F up, we are persona non grata, we're disavowed. If we do well, hey look, they get the credit. We get nothing. Go ahead, Tim.
Yes, Tim.
3 words.
I just the
No.
way
Tim
I'm
Kirk,
seeing it
give
is that
one
we
sec.
are.
Yeah.
Tim Lemaster was saying something just before you, so
Okay.
if you don't mind, let him finish.
Yeah.
3 words. Environmental Protection Agency. We don't need to go to the cops. We can go to another agency where they don't have that isn't in their pocket. We can show them these unstable power cells. They come in and said the same day with a court order shutting the whole place down. We don't necessarily have to do to the cops. We can find some other agency that deals with this kind of stuff, or the Bureau of Attack, whatever would appropriate for something like this. We can bring in something to their technician or scientists saying, "Hey, these aren't stable. They could blow up the city." They can come in there and basically said, "Yeah, sorry, hi, this is this. We got this court order. You're not shipping these."
And how long does it take for such a government agency to respond and arrive? As I understand it, last time there was a wildfire, it took 3 months before FEMA was able to step in. These secondary EPAs and other organizations do have to answer to someone.
I would also like
unless
to
you know
point
someone
out.
who knows someone.
I would also like to point out that we have to have physical evidence that they are dangerous first.
Mhm. Okay, I agree that right now we need to get those things out of there.
That is
Okay.
that is my agreement as well.
Uh,
When
but then
they
we
happen,
could
we'll be
like
feeling.
hide those things somewhere, and then we could try, or at least find some people that will later go through the legal process, and eventually we will deliver the cells to the right people and see if something can be done about Paladin. But right now, we have to get those cells out of there because the
What
entire
city are
city
we
block
in,
is in
Gerry?
danger.
Which is
What
why I
city are we
suggested
in?
the plan that I go in, I unlock,
Mhm.
and as I understand it, Traveler, you have the means to transport the items out, correct? Because I don't.
Well, yes, he's a dimensional traveler, so I suppose he could just he basically teleports. Uh,
So
that would
so
he okay?
so if I give you a location to meet me inside the building,
Mhm.
give you a homing beacon or signal of some sort, you can join me in that room and you can teleport everything out. Then we come back out and we decide the next step.
I assume so. Although I
Okay.
believe that will require a dice roll.
So
I suppose.
So, Jerry, I'm going to phase my way in throughout the building and go to the vault where the power cells are being held and being stored. And then once I'm inside the building, inside the room, I'm going to make sure nobody else is in the room with me. And I will use my mental link to establish a location of where I am to allow the traveler to come in and take stuff. So take stuff out. So my intention is basically to give him a +1 of D6 extra to help him with his role of teleporting in and get stuff out.
Okay. Did you have a question or something, Protector? I saw you raise your hand.
What city are we in?
We'll say New York.
Okay. So, do I need a roll to get there, or can I assume that I just simply teleport there, and that I will need the roll for teleporting this extra mass?
And Protector, I did ask you a question. I don't know if you caught my question earlier.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Uh, I wanted to ask if you knew how to expedite the getting another agency involved.
That's up to the GM. I mean, you could say, do I have connections, Jerry, that I could expedite something real fast?
I'm sure you know someone. Depends on what you're gonna take with you to them. So it would depend on what you take from this facility and bring to them to show them what's wrong.
I'll take one of the power cells. And
Okay.
take them and tell them we'll tell them what we're doing with them. Because technically we're stealing from a corporation right now. If they find out what we did, we could end up being on a run from them. And we didn't actually inform them or even inform the authorities of what we're about to do. So.
Well, I figure if you're gonna
campaign here in a minute.
I figure if you're gonna pass something on to like the EPA, you're gonna do it anonymously, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Alice, before Mirage does her thing, I just want to know, while you and Traveler are preparing to do what you are going to do, I want to know what Protector and Stormheart are going to do.
Sure.
Are you going to like position yourself somewhere nearby, or
I'm going to make sure I'm somewhere nearby. Yes. I imagine the facility is somewhat on the edge of town.
It's in an industrial area.
An industrial area, yeah. So that's where I'm going to position myself as comfortably as possible while avoiding any of the toxins they are putting off.
Okay. What about you, Protector?
I'm gonna, since we're moved, somebody should stay behind and keep an eye on this place in case left-wing Iron Man shows up. So.
Okay. Are you going to stay with Stormheart, or are you going to be in a separate position?
I'll stay with who? Yeah, the Storm guy.
Okay. Okay. So, Mirage, go ahead and make your roll for your phasing.
Sure. Oops. Give me one sec. I just noticed there we go. I believe I'm 3d6. Yes. Keep highest. I rolled a 4. 4 is a yes if.
Yes if. Okay. So you can still get into the vault. That won't be a problem. But if you do so, it's going to cause a disruption in the fabric of the vault itself, and so it's going to blow a small hole in it, which will probably alert security.
Yeah, but it would also show the how terribly volatile that stuff is that me walking through. No, I'm going to say no. And I'm going to, at that point, flag my weakness. I'm going to say that something we didn't realize about these power cells is that they are radioactive. So as I start trying to phase through that final wall, I go and tell you guys through the mental link. I tell you guys through the mental link, these power cells are nuclear. I can't get near it. And I back the frick up.
That's a problem.
Let's up the ante. These explosive ones are nuclear. Sound good?
That's up to you.
Okay, so
There are fusion cells. That's a thing.
anyone else have any ideas how to get into the vault?
Well, he can teleport in. I was just trying to make it easier for him to teleport in. So he just has to do it without me now. See if he can roll high enough.
What's right?
I was just trying to give him an additional d6 to get in and out with the stuff, because getting the stuff's probably going to be harder.
Can your character teleport blind like that?
Well, he could teleport to where Mirage is, and then
he would know that it's on the other side of that wall that I refuse to go through.
and then he shouldn't have any problem making a dimensional portal through the vault door and getting in there. So, why don't you go ahead and roll, Wilfredo, for Traveler?
Okay. How
'Cause
many
getting to
dice
where
is
she
that?
is no. Yeah, getting to where she is no problem. This is just to get inside the vault.
Okay, so he just poof and he's next to her.
Yeah.
Okay, now is that I need to roll to get into the vault.
Right.
How many dice will that be?
Whatever your teleportation was. How many dice is that?
Yeah,
That's 3 dice.
Then roll
3
so
dice?
3 dice,
Go
keep
ahead.
the highest. And you're looking
Keep
for
the
high numbers here.
Okay, I'm going to the channel now. Oops, screw something. Did I do something wrong?
And
Be a
Tim,
dash and an R.
I've now added the note into your wife's
Oh,
thing so that I will not hit her by accident. It's a dash, not an exclamation.
yeah, I see now. No, I again screwed up.
You forgot the space.
Yeah, I know what I did wrong. Don't worry. There you go.
Excellent.
And you got a 6.
So, all
Well,
right.
at least I helped. I got him nearby. I helped.
Okay, so Traveler, you teleport into, you open a dimensional gateway, go through it, end up inside the vault, and inside you see these racks of power cells. And what Mirage had explained to you was this: inside there's another smaller metal container, which is where all the defective ones are. So that's the one that you want to move. You don't need to move all of them, just this other container that's in there.
Okay.
See, Jerry.
So that will be another roll.
Jerry, I think Quinn's going to tell me I can't have mental powers either now.
Okay. Okay, now what I want to do is I'm going to try to teleport them. I'll put them in another dimension, which should be the safest place. If you agree with that. Like,
yeah, that's fine.
Like some limbo somewhere with no life forms that could be hurt if that thing ever explodes. And I will need another roll for that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try that. Oh, no. What am I? What am I? No. Okay. Four. Okay.
Okay, 4.
4 is in yes if.
Okay, so you can move it, but if you do, it probably won't end up in the alternate dimension that you want to put it in.
I see. That's risky. Do I have a choice on that at the moment, or do I know? Like can I tell?
Yeah, I mean, basically what it is that the roll you got is you can succeed, but it's going to cause collateral damage to it.
If you choose to accept, because you rolled a yes if. So if means you can accept or decline. If you decline, you have to give a reason for declining. So for me, I up the ante and saying, I realize that there is radiation coming off of these that's making me ill. If you decline, you need to give a reason why.
I see.
Why you realized, wait, This isn't going to work like I expected. Or you take the risk and you just fly it out somewhere.
No, I'm not going to take that risk because who knows where that thing could end up. So yeah, I'm going to say that. These things are already leaking radiation, so I'm not going to take that risk. And in fact, I am getting out of here.
Okay.
Okay?
So
Do I need another roll for that? Or?
So, nope, you can get out of there from what I heard, right, Jerry?
yeah, that's not a problem. No, you don't have to roll for that.
So, and I can help, figure out your path out for you.
Okay, so I am going to teleport right out because I am going to wait to see if a lighthouse comes up. I want to talk to him to maybe try to see if we can reason with him, and especially by telling him about the defective cells and that maybe we could use them as evidence against Paladin. And who knows? It's always better to try, the pacifist route, or at least that we travelers sees it. And if it doesn't work, but it was worth a try.
Well, we need to see what Tim Lemaster brought upon us.
Exactly.
Anonymous tip.
Well,
yeah.
Speaking of Protector and Stormheart, while you two are on the roof, you notice that you see on top of a building on the other side of the production facility, there's someone on the roof, and it looks like they're looking down on the production facility at this point.
All right,
from the outline that you can see, they're larger than a normal-sized person.
I think that's our man. Want to say hello?
Stormheart?
Yes, I'm going to go over there. I'm going to fly up and go see who it is.
I'm going to swing a line over there.
Okay, so you two cross over, and as you get closer, you can definitely see that it's Lighthouse is standing on the roof of this building, and he sees you two coming, and he immediately shoots a grappling line from one of his gauntlets and swings down into the production facility.
Okay.
And when he does that, inside the plant, Mirage and Traveler, you start hearing warning sirens going off.
Okay.
I'm going to drop a fog so it makes it difficult for them to see.
Okay.
So it makes it difficult for him to see as well. So maybe I can reduce, each group of people shooting at one another until they're very close and reduce the risk of side injury.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your weather control. And then Protector, you said you had, infrared vision?
Protector, Tim?
Yes, I'm sorry.
No problem. Jerry's asking you a question.
Taking off for a minute. Sorry. Brain
you have. Yeah, I saw that, Tim. I'll get to that in a sec. Protector, you have infrared vision, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Stormheart creates a fog, and Mirage and Traveler, you notice that the windows in the area you're at, you start seeing a fog rising up outside the building. And Protector, you have your infrared vision on. You can still see heat signatures from people.
Move up towards them.
So you're going to engage Lighthouse?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you want to engage him?
I'll run up and do like a martial kick, I guess. Use my martial arts.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your martial arts.
Okay, hold on.
Shoot, wait.
And Stormheart, I'm assuming you can see through your own fog, right?
I can create a wind to let me see, yes.
Okay.
But I assume that's part of weather control, if that's all right.
Oh. Okay, I got 6.
Yep. So critical. So he takes a. All right. So he takes 1 off his toughness.
Honey, excuse me, I gotta go upstairs.
Okay, everything okay?
I don't know yet. I'll find out.
Okay, good luck, Tim.
So while checking on that, what is Mirage and Traveler going to do?
I at that point start phasing my way up to where I'm hearing commotion.
Mhm. Okay, Traveler is also going to teleport outside, and once outside and he sees it's full of fog, I'm going to try to take the form of some animal that can see in the dark. A bat, maybe.
You have shapeshift? Cool.
Yes, he does. So, okay, I'm going to assume that the teleporting is free. And no dice roll needed.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so I'm outside, and now I am going to try to change into a bat.
Bats don't actually see at night. They
They have
sonar.
I know they have a radar, a sonar. I mean.
So you can go to a large-eyed mammal because those actually see at night if that's what you want.
Large-eyed mammal.
Yeah, large-eyed mammals. So carnivorous hunters and large-eyed mammals. So like raccoons see at night because their eyes are specifically made to see at night. Also, wolves and certain types of wolves have those larger eyes because they're meant to hunt at night. Red foxes specifically are night hunters as well. Just a couple options if you're wanting to see at night versus just have the radar sense of a bat.
Well, I need some way to find my way around. Also, how about a panther? Because there are, I think panther could get around better in this kind of environment, like a building, than a wolf would, because they are cats and can climb and things like that.
You're saying panther, right?
Yes,
Okay.
something like a jaguar or something like that.
Panthers, as I recall, can see decently in moonlight at night. So.
So I'm going to go for a panther.
Okay.
So let's see if I make it, then what happens.
Jerry?
Oh, go ahead and roll.
He's asking a question.
Oh, what was the question again?
Oops, I got a 3.
Got a 3. All right.
3 is a straight no. Right?
Just no. So you weren't able to shift your shape yet into the form you wanted.
So okay, I go. I try, but could not do it yet. So that's my turn.
So what were you doing, Mirage?
I phased out to the area to get a glimpse at what is going on. I would like to know basically what you say I see when I'm outside again.
Okay, so there's this fog that's covering the entire production facility.
Mm-hmm.
You hear sirens blazing. You can hear people running about. This is after regular hours, so it's basically the security staff is there. There's probably the janitorial staff and stuff. You can hear a couple of vehicles, which are probably the Paladin security people. And off in the distance, you can see a searchlight turn on. You also heard the sound of someone striking metal, which was Protector when he struck Lighthouse with his attack.
Okay. I'm going to, at this point, mentally influence the person with the searchlight. And I am going to implant in his mind false alarm, and that he's scanning around, he sees nothing, and he's going to report in a false alarm, because I want I want these people to disengage from the situation, and that's so.
Yeah, they might turn on off too.
Okay, go ahead and roll.
Yep. I got a 5. 5 is a yes. 5 is a yes, but. So, so I'm going to say yes, he now believes it's a false alarm, so he now turns off all the lights, and now it's pitch freaking black. So we now need our own light source between the fog and everything else. He's if that's okay with you, Jerry. But now I basically made us all blind in the night because he just turned off all the floodlights.
Go ahead, Protector.
I'm gonna have to bow out. My wife's not feeling right now. She asked me to spend the night with her.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
No problem.
Just leave the call.
Yeah, just leave the call, Tim. I hope she feels better
Okay.
soon.
Okay. So
I hope
bye.
she feels better.
Yeah. Bye.
Okay. All right. So you see the searchlight goes off on the vehicle,
Mhm.
and then you can hear someone yelling out, "What the hell are you doing? Now we can't see." And
It's
at
his
that
first
point-
day. Yeah, a bunch of people are like, shoot, we can't see now.
okay. So and.
I played a few if and but engines, as you can tell.
Okay, so this actually makes it easier. So I just rolled for Lighthouse.
Nice.
And
Lighthouse just turned on the lights, apparently.
well, what I was doing was he was actually engaged by Protector.
Oh.
So since Tim had to leave and he got a 6, I'll just have him. He fired a blinding light, and now Protector's blinded, so he's kind of out of the fight for the moment.
Okay.
So yeah, you see this big flash of light, you hear Protector scream, and for a brief moment you can see Protector's got his hands over his eyes, and you hear Lighthouse yell, "I didn't want to do that! You forced me to! If you'd only stayed out of my way, this would be over!"
Please surrender, Lighthouse. There is great danger here. We're trying to prevent it from happening.
So
The power cells are unstable and could explode if you interact with them. We're trying to stop them from exploding. Just step back, let us do our job. We will keep Paladin at bay, but we've got to keep these dangerous things from falling into anyone's hands. So please forgive me if I make it foggy and difficult for you to see where to go. But I can also call down lightning if you choose. You're not going to like that in that suit of yours. Please let us handle the cells. They are dangerous. They need to be contained, not destroyed at the moment. At least until we can find a way to disable them without them going boom.
okay, so he's looking around because he can't see where you are, and he goes, "You idiots! These are my designs. I know how to disable them. You're the ones that are causing danger to everyone by being here. Leave.
No, we're trying to keep paladins from shooting you. That's our main objective. We don't want armor-piercing bullets going through you into the town or into toxic explosive things. So why don't you leave?
Definitely.
Tell you what, we will meet you outside the facility and let you examine the power cells, so as you don't shoot anybody. We just want to keep them safe, and we know that they are dangerous.
So, I have a question. Is this being related to me?
Yes,
Great. Um, excuse me, Lighthouse. He hears in his head. I don't know if that disturbs Lighthouse if it makes Lighthouse uncomfortable. I am doing a one-on-one conversation with just Lighthouse right now. But Lighthouse hears in his mind, "Excuse me, Mr. Lighthouse."
He doesn't respond. He's just like looking around like who's talking to him.
What do you mean they are your designs?
These are based on my work.
So you
They
are a
turned it
disgruntled
into
employee.
weapons. I'm not a disgruntled employee. I'm trying to stop them from perverting my work into weapons of destruction.
So you're
These
a
will be
disgruntled
used to kill.
ex-employee.
It doesn't matter. You're in my way. If you continue to be in my way, then you're no better than. Let me do what I have to do, and I'll leave.
You're going about things the wrong way. These people have family, they have children. I'm going to start inundating him with the thoughts of basically, I'm going to start inundating him with empathy for people with family and kids, and I'm going to show him like one of the security guards that he shot up, and the children that he has. He has 3 kids, a daughter that's only 2 years old, a 6-year-old who needs braces and glasses. 10-year-old that needs braces and glasses, and that he's just making ends meet. And I'm going to start inundating this guy with the people that he's trying to save are the same people he is hurting. And that is what I'm going to do for my diplomacy check.
Okay.
That's a 5. That's a straight yes. No, that's a yes, but.
Okay.
I think I might have a good butt at the moment.
What's that?
I think he starts going a little psycho, like a little not like blowing up psycho, but he starts basically having like panic attacks. He sounds like basically a weaselly, disgruntled ex-employee that decided to don a bunch of his tech. So to me so far, so the image is that he's starting to basically feel this panic attack. Oh my gosh, what am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? And he just starts babbling stuff like that, giving him a cue to do something with a Stormhorn. No, this isn't how it's supposed to be. This isn't, and something like that, basically. That I got through to him, but now he's like, this isn't how it's supposed to go. This isn't supposed to be this way. Everyone's just screwing it up. And so, but basically that I'm getting through that he is doing the wrong, because it's a yes, but. So I got through to him. He's just now going into meltdown.
I'm trying to keep him calm so he doesn't hurt anybody. So I'm just going to keep talking to him. I'm a guardian of nature. Do you think I want these things out in the field exploding or hurting people or hurting the environment? They're radioactive. We've already discovered that much.
So he's yeah, it's funny, Alice, because you got close to what his weakness is too. So he's getting bombarded.
From the beginning, I literally wrote down in my notes, disgruntled ex-employee. Because I was like, this has got to be a disgruntled ex-employee of Hallen.
Yeah, he is in a way, but he's not like, like a whiny little
Okay,
guy. He's
Weasley guy.
actually,
Okay.
but you hit close to home with about his technology, how he's hurting innocent people. But then with Stormheart trying to, talk him down, he's like kind of like losing his shit right now. But at this point, you see that the searchlights come back on, and you hear vehicles start rolling up now, and you hear, all of you, put your hands up and get on your knees, or we'll open fire.
In Traveler, you're in your mind. You hear, can you get the two of them? Well, I guess three of them on the roof. Can you get them out of here?
Well, it's actually three vehicles.
No. I'm pointing at my party members and Lighthouse. I'm asking if the party members and Lighthouse can be teleported out of here. I don't need any transportation. I'm gone. But I'm asking him, can he do it?
That's right. Yeah.
If you say you can, I'll at that point I will phase out. I disappear.
I can try, but I suppose I will need a good dice roll.
Well, I mean, Stormheart could fly away if he needs to.
Yeah, my concern is somebody needs to take Lighthouse with them, at the moment.
Okay, so you're gonna try to pop out of there with Lighthouse, Traveler?
Yes.
All right, go ahead and roll.
Mm-hmm.
I assume Stormheart's gonna try to fly away, right?
Yes, I'm going to attempt to fly away, but I'm thickening the fog cover and brewing a little bit of background storm to drop some rain to make it even more difficult.
Sounds good.
Whoops.
Ooh.
Oh.
It's just a no. So no big. Basically, you just failed the roll. You didn't no consequence to it. So Traveler tries to make a dimensional portal, and it doesn't work. And you hear over the megaphone, it's like, sorry, heroes, but we have a power dampening field up now. You're not getting away. And
oh, isn't that convenient?
I've already gone because they said they had it handled. So I guess I have to come back and save them.
Well, at this point, because Lighthouse saw what you were trying to do, he Lighthouse, like, he sees that the vehicles are getting close, and he puts his arm around you, Traveler, and then he points his arm up at the building, and a grappling hook shoots out, and he takes you with him as he goes up, pulls himself out of the fog and onto the roof.
Whee!
And Stormheart, as you were pulling away, you see them come out of the fog, and he lands on the roof, and he lets you go, and he goes, "This isn't what I wanted to happen. Now I've got to try again," and he starts running away.
Please stop. Let us work together to solve this problem.
He's like, "I can't trust you. The last time I trusted a hero, it all went wrong."
Well, trust us. We're not here to hurt you. We're here to keep anybody from getting hurt.
So
you want me to make a roll?
No, he's kind of hesitating because he's like torn right now between what you said to him earlier and having his weakness triggered by Mirage. So, and you hear that megaphone again. Said, "Hey, heroes, we've got your buddy. If you want him to leave here alive, you'll turn over Lighthouse."
If you're threatening lives, you have stepped outside the line, and I will electrocute your butt with a lightning bolt. Do you want to have the wrath of heaven upon your head, son? I think you should repent right now. But a lightning bolt is going to do some pretty fancy damage to that gun and armor of yours. So let him go. We'll come get him. We won't hurt you, but you're not getting Lighthouse.
So the guy who was on the megaphone was then actually one of the paladin guys. It's a guy in a suit. And he's like, you trespassed on private property. We have government contracts. Do you know how much trouble we can cause for you
Go
after
ahead.
what you've just done?
Go ahead.
And
Yeah,
believe me,
we don't care.
Look, let me explain something to you. I can drop a hurricane on your
Stormborn,
house.
you hear in your mind, do you have any concept of diplomacy?
Well, I was trying to be diplomatic.
No, you were trying to bash them over the head with your perspective, not trying to understand anything your opposition has said. Lighthouse mentioned why he was doing this, rather than activating on that and discussing with him why he was doing this. You chose to try and impede him with your perspective and try and calm him down. You need to sympathize and empathize with your opponent if you wish to actually diplomatize. At the
They
moment,
have just threatened someone's life. I'm sorry, they've gone over the line. Private property or not, it doesn't give them a right to shoot, to kill.
private property or not, listening to what they are saying is the best way to diplomatize your way out of that situation right now.
Well, then you handle talking to him.
I've left. If you would like me to return, I can.
Yeah, please. Because right now I'm trying to deal with with Lighthouse.
I'm trying to deal with Lighthouse myself, so that's why I'm gone.
Well, I need you to deal with the lunatic with a loud mouthpiece.
so while you guys are having this discussion, Lighthouse he was listening to the whole thing, and he's like, enough! And then this blinding flash of light comes out of his armor.
Okay.
So anyone who was right by him, I just did the blinding flash, so that's and then
I'm right next to him.
yeah. And I know Stormheart was like in the air near him. And so you're blinded for a split second, and then when you get your sight back, you see that Lighthouse has fired his grappling hook, and he's swinging down to where the guy with the megaphone is.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
And he lands in front of him, and he just you can hear the guy.
Action.
Yeah, well, you are you gonna come back while this is going on?
Yep, I'm working my way
Okay.
back at this point. I'm like,
So-
I'm staying invisible though. I am not showing myself right now. Staying invisible sounds like a smart bet.
So Lighthouse lands in front of the guy, and he goes, "Your power dampener doesn't work on me. I don't have actual superpowers. Let the hero go, or I'm gonna permanently blind you." And you see the guy at the megaphone just kind of smiles, and he takes a step back. You see a couple of paladin guards come out, and you see that they're actually armed with those prototype laser rifles.
I'm going to try and hit them both with a gust of wind now that I can see again.
Let me know how you're handling initiatives and who goes when.
I'm going. Yeah.
Well, what were you doing exactly, Mirage? You were just coming back to the area?
Once I get back to the area, I have an action, but I'm going to wait for you to trigger me on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so when you get back, you see Lighthouse is standing in front of this guy in a suit who's holding a megaphone, and you heard him make the threat that he was going to blind him if he didn't let Protector go. And then he snapped his fingers, and 4 paladin guys came out. Instead of armed with assault rifles, they have what look like some kind of energy weapons.
Okay.
And since you've seen the power cells, you see that they're like backpack power cells, and so they have these backpacks attached to these rifles. and they're in a U formation behind the guy with the megaphone, and they're aiming at Lighthouse.
So I am at this point going to be.
Oh, and one
We
more
already
thing,
know
you
that it's
see.
radioactive, so I'm going to make all five. Sorry, because was it 3 paladin guys or 4 paladin guys? You said.
4, but one more thing.
Mhm.
You can see into the building they came out of,
Mhm.
and you see that they have Protector with his arms tied behind his back on his knees, and there's a guy with another one of these prototype weapons pointed at the back of his head. And from where they're at, Traveler and Stormheart don't see that.
Okay. What I'm going to do is, we already know that these are radioactive. I'm assuming that the people using these weapons would know, and these are trained by military guys and whatnot. They're going to understand that these are radioactive weapons. I am going to, at this point, implant in their minds the belief and the sight for the Palin and the Paladin guys that there is a radioactive leak out of at least one or more of those battery packs, and all of them are essentially melting. Skin is starting to bubble, skin is starting to come apart, and they are all getting radiation sick super fast because it's super powerful. And that is a yes if. So tell me what the if is.
Okay, so
Ooh,
you
I
get the
actually have a
yes.
pretty good if.
What's that?
That they believe it, and so one of them starts looking at his weaponry, and he causes a radioactive explosion. Ground zero.
Oh.
That he starts basically trying to pull at his battery pack, going, no, I don't want to get, I don't want to die, and he causes a small explosion in that room.
Well, only one of them is in the room with the rifle. There's the 4 guys outside. So
Right, sorry, the 4 guys outside with the rifle,
I'll be right back.
causes an explosion, ground zero on them.
Okay.
Because he's now panicking, thinking that he's leaking, and he's trying to get it off of himself, and he causes an actual explosion.
Okay, so you see that they all start like freaking out, and one of them was trying to take the backpack off of him, and when he did so, he kind of threw it to the ground, and you see that the pack started to glow.
Okay.
And he starts screaming. He's like, "Holy shit! Holy shit!" And they starting to run. And then you see that the guy in the suit turns around, and he's like, "What the?" And Lighthouse actually gets between him and the battery pack. And then there's a small explosion from the power cell. So because the power cell exploded, though, there's radiation in the area that can hurt you.
Right.
So just so you have like, what is it, 3? Is your resistance 3 or is your toughness 3?
My toughness is 3.
Okay, so you have 5 rounds you can be around it before you would get taken out of action. So
2 things. It was the if. You didn't ask if I was accepting that if, but I will accept it. You already narrated. I will totally accept it. You've already narrated. It's totally fine. 2, it is radiation is my weakness, so therefore, at that point, I have 3 rounds before I have to evacuate, because that's my resistance, not my toughness. My toughness is 5. My resistance is 3.
Okay, so you have 3. Yeah, so you have 3 turns starting on the next turn.
Okay. Understood.
Yeah.
Before I'm out of action.
Right. So because of the explosion, though, the 4 guys who had the rifles are all out of action right now.
Okay.
The guy who has the rifle pointed at Protector is he wasn't affected by the explosion, but he's kind of looking at his weapon like you see that he takes the the energy weapon off his back, but he puts it down. But then he pulls out his pistol that he had on his at his hip, and then he cocks it and puts it at the back of Protector's head. So now, are you relaying what you see into the minds of both Stormheart and Traveler?
Yes.
Okay, so Stormheart and Traveler, just to catch you up, Tim. So Mirage did something to the guards, making them think that the weapons were leaking radiation. And they started to take the rifles off, but one of them threw it to the ground and caused the backpack to explode. And so what happened was that those 4 guards are knocked out. Lighthouse actually got between himself and the guy with the megaphone because he knew what was going to happen. And inside your mind, you can tell that inside the building, where you can't see from your vantage point, is that they have Protector on tied up on his knees. There was another guy pointing one of these energy weapons at the back of his head. That guy has since taken that weapon off his back and placed it on the ground, but now he's got a pistol pointed to his head. I mean, you all know he's wearing an armored suit, but you don't know how well it will protect against a close-range shot.
Right.
But Traveler, because you can see that area, if you did want it to teleport in there with your dimensional teleport, you could.
Oh, yes. Let's say, once I am there, what can I do? Can I, like, grab a Protector and teleport him out?
Yes, you can.
Well, let's give it a try.
Right.
Okay. First, I am there. Pop. Now I am going to try to teleport him away.
Okay.
What was going on? Everyone's quiet. I was talking to Brandon real quick.
Traveler.
I wasn't coming through, right?
I got a 4.
No.
Okay.
So Traveler, since he could see inside the building through your mental link, he is he went and did a dimensional hop into the building, and then he went to go grab Protector and get him out. Okay, so
I got a 4.
Yeah, so that's a yes if. So here's my suggestion for the if. You get him out, but the dimensional energy from your teleport accidentally causes the backpack on the other weapon to explode, which will knock out the other guard. It won't, and cause some damage to the building.
What about us? Will it affect us?
No, it won't affect you or Protector, no. Because the if means it'll cause collateral damage. That doesn't affect you guys at all.
Well, normally I would not do this, but those guys were putting his life in danger. So
Exactly.
I'm going for it. Yeah, I'm rescuing him. I have to rescue him.
Go for it.
Okay, so Traveler teleports in. He grabs Protector. You can hear in your minds that he says, "I got him." He teleports out, and then there's an explosion inside the building, and you see the other Paladin guard gets knocked out from the explosion and just like lands on his face and passes out.
Whoops! Did I do that?
Now, Stormheart, from where you are, you can see that there's 2, looks like armored Humvees that are driving to where the explosion is.
Yeah.
And you can see that they actually have gun mounts on the roof, and they have machine guns, and they're getting ready, and they turn on searchlights because you still have the fog up.
Yeah.
And they're sweeping to see what's going on.
I'm going to put an ice flake underneath them. I'm going to drop a blizzard.
Okay.
Are going to attempt to drop a blizzard to keep them from getting any closer.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to get the paladins who've already been knocked out together and away from the radioactive explosive material. So first I've got to stop them. Can you get the other Paladin, Mirage, or Traveler? Or do you need me to do it? I'm going to try and stop these two trucks that are incoming with weapons mounted on them.
Um, I I can try, but I'm not. I can't. I can't be in here very long. I'm getting weaker by the minute. I don't think I can lift him, and I can't fly or teleport like the other two of you can, and I will not be able to
I
lift him.
understand. I understand. Stay away then.
But
Okay, so
Traveler
um,
says to her, "Don't risk yourself. Get out of there."
Okay.
so Stormheart creates like a blizzard right around where the two Humvees are, and he creates a patch of ice on the ground, and both vehicles skid and crash into the fence line at the edge of the property because the drivers lost control. At this point, you see that Lighthouse is now running into the building where Protector was, where that vault is, and he goes, I knew it, I shouldn't have trusted you. Now there's radiation everywhere, and everyone's at risk. I've got to stop it.
Oh no!
We're trying to stop them from using those weapons. Try and get the man out. I will try and deal with the radioactive material.
Well,
Okay?
he left the guy in the suit, and he just ran into the building because
Well, I know. I'm yelling at him.
Yeah, he's just ignoring you at this point because he's freaking out that the radiation from those two exploded power cells is in the area and it's going to hurt people.
All right. Well, I'm trying to. Part of the reason I'm trying to drop ice on the area is because it will keep the other packs from overheating if they also have a tendency to explode.
Okay. Mirage, were you going to get out of the area?
Yes,
Or
I
were you
am.
gonna?
I'm
Okay.
going to get out of the area, and from out of the area, I'm going to render assistance by basically starting to go through the minds of the different people on the scene, and I'm going to try and calm the situation. Um, so the people that are heading into the scene from outside of it, I'm going to basically make them believe that they are going in the wrong direction and try and just misdirect and redirect them away. Start redirecting people away from the area.
Okay. Well, the only other people that were in the area was the guys in the Humvee.
Okay.
So they had crashed into the fence line. So at this moment, they're still recovering from the crash.
Okay. Well, in that case, what I'm going to do, do they seem physically hurt, or do they just seem like they're reeling?
It's more like they're stunned
Okay.
at this moment. They'll recover in like another round or two.
I'm going to actually try and use my mental powers to try and get them out of their stun mode. And just basically, snap out of it. You guys need to get out of here. You know, yeah, I'm going to just get in their minds and say, snap out of it. Get yourself together, soldier. And so each of them is going to start seeing like their old general and such, because a bunch of these people are ex-military. So they're going to see their old general, their corporal, their sergeant, whoever was their leader, whoever was their boss. Get it together, soldier, and get out of here. And let me roll that 40. Oops, I rolled it into the wrong channel. I apologize. I didn't realize I left that channel.
That happens to me too.
I got a 5, so that's a yes, but.
Okay. Yes, but.
But they run the wrong direction into the radioactive area.
So,
You need to
well,
roll really freaking high to do well on the narrative in this game.
Yes.
so they recover and they start running towards the building. It's going to take them at least another round to get there.
Wrong way, soldier! Wrong way!
But at that point, there's a new alarm going off.
Oh dear.
It's different than the alarm that was before.
Uh-huh.
And you notice that they stop short and they start running away from the building now.
Okay.
And you see that you see the guy in the suit. He's just like shaking his head like he's disappointed, and you notice that he pulls out a cell phone, and he's standing in the middle of this radiation like nothing. He pulls out his cell phone and he starts talking to someone, and you're not sure what he's saying, but because he's like talking low, but you can just see from where you're at, you can see the look on his face. He's just like got this look on his face like this is just all gone to hell.
Yeah. This game, by the way, this engine, the ratio on the rolls on this, it comes out more a comedy of errors than a superhero game.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's fun.
I've dealt with other yes, if, and, but engines, but usually it's scaled down by one number but you don't get the 7. You get 1 through 6, and it's a 3 success. So it's a little more awkward this way, but I feel like you're definitely getting a more comedy of errors than the superhero game.
Well, it does add some interesting twists to what's going on.
as long as you have cooperative players who are willing to go with that, because I'm just throwing all sorts of screw me's at you. I'm like, let's put my weakness in there, Jerry. I think I've been basically putting my head on the guillotine for you a few times.
So so after you hear the alarm go off, you see that Lighthouse comes back out of the building.
Uh-huh.
And he's got this device on over his armor. He's got it looks like the backpack for a flamethrower. And he's got it's got a tube attached to it. It looks like a rifle, but the rifle has like a nozzle for a fire extinguisher. And he pulls the trigger, and it almost looks like the foam from a fire extinguisher, and he's spraying the whole area where the radiation is. And you start feeling that the radiation that was affecting you is starting to go away. And as he's spraying, remember the guy who was talking on the phone? Well, he sprays the guy because he's standing in the middle of the radiation. And you see he stops talking on the phone, and he goes, "Really?"
It's probably called foam.
Comedy of errors.
Yeah. So to catch you up, Tim, Mirage used her mental powers on those guys in the Humvees and tried to get them to run away, and she got a yes, but, so they started running towards the building, but Lighthouse set off an alarm that they knew was too dangerous, so they ran the other way. And then he came out with a device that looks like a cross between a fire extinguisher and a flamethrower, and he's spraying this foam that's dampening the radiation.
Okay, I am going to ask him, did you take care of the power cells already?
He's like, "No, I'm too busy trying to put out the fire you created."
Hey, not me.
So Stormheart, what do you feel like doing now?
I'm going to tell him I'm trying to cool the area to keep the power cells from becoming unstable. Will that help?
He goes, "Yes." He goes,
"Okay, that's what I'm trying to do." So I'm going to go in and try and drag some of the cold air with me and start hitting the power cells inside to try and prevent them from exploding.
Okay.
This is what we were trying to do lighthouse. We really were just trying to prevent this explosion from happening in the first place. But the paladins are nuts.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, "You don't have to tell me. I faced them more than once."
We know we were trying to prevent you from getting injured or anyone else.
He goes, "Well, if you want to help, then follow my lead." And then he goes back inside.
Well, I'm inside bringing cold air.
Okay. What about you two, Traveler and Mirage? You gonna follow Lighthouse back inside?
Yes,
Oh,
I
yeah.
am. I'm going to try and get, I'm going to phase and run through the bad area.
How
Well,
cold is inside?
he sprayed that stuff down so that the air has kind of cleared, so
Yeah.
you're okay.
Okay, cool. It's still my weakness, so I'm going to just try and move through it quickly and yeah, get in the building.
Okay, so oh
We're going
god.
to work with the terrorists now. This is the comedy of errors that we're dealing with.
Yeah. So anyway, as you guys come in, you see Lighthouse is standing in front of that the vault, and he just tried to use his laser to open it up, and well, so he gets the vault open, and he's like, "Oh shit!"
What?
He turns around. And he goes, "We need to get rid of these cells right now. I misjudged how much force to use on my laser, and I damaged one of them. It's going to explode."
Okay.
Can you do anything?
So, as you look inside the vault, it's
Traveler,
one of the
you're up.
It's one of the regular power cells. It's not the corrupted ones.
Uh-huh. But this one
So-
is clearly unstable enough, so Traveler, you're up. Time to teleport stuff out.
I guess I have no choice. I'm going to try to teleport it anywhere.
Yeah, it's only one cell though. It's not like the whole box like you were trying to do before.
Okay. Let's see.
I'm guessing the GM rolled a yes and or yes but.
Why?
I got through the door, but.
I got a yes if actually.
Oh, yes if. Okay.
Uh-huh.
There you go.
Yeah, he just got a yes but again. So, okay, so yes but is
Now remember, Wilfredo, like me, like you were seeing the way I do it, if you have an idea for the yes but, you can pitch it to the GM because it is an interactive thing. And some of the, so.
Okay, then I have to go along with it.
Well,
You
no.
have
But it's a yes, but something bad happens. If you have an idea of what happens, you share it. Like I've been doing. Like I'm like, oh yeah, but this happened. I did it, but this happened. Stuff like that. And so you're able to pitch ideas to the GM just like the GM can pitch ideas as well.
Mm-hmm.
Why not you send me along with it?
What?
Wherever you send it.
What?
Send me along with it.
send you along with it.
So yes, but the teleporter opened up and
I'm the only
swallowed
one
you.
who doesn't have a weakness to radiation. Then.
So it swallowed Stormhorn with the teleport, is what he's saying.
Stormheart. Yeah,
Stormheart.
it swallows me along. Because I'm trying to keep them cool so none of them go off.
So what do you think, Wilfredo? You teleport away, but Stormheart gets dragged with it. What do you think?
Well, if he wants to take the chance, one of us will have to go. I think that will be a good call. Like somebody has to go with it. I guess I will have to go, and then you offer yourself to go, and then we will have to make a choice.
Well, it's more of a accidental situation when it's a butt.
Accidental.
So
it's not a
it's
choice at the time. It's an accidental.
Okay.
I find that yes, if, and, but engines are difficult for some people. It's either you really get it or you really don't.
Yeah.
And there's not really an in-between.
Okay. So the only thing that's my idea, like, going along with it.
Okay.
Unless the game master has another idea.
No, that actually sounds interesting because we'll have to play out you rescuing Stormheart from wherever you sent them. So, okay, so Traveler goes to do his thing. He opens up a vortex and he gets rid of the damaged power cell. But as it starts to close, as the portal starts to close, because you were flying, weren't you, Stormheart?
Right.
Right, so Stormheart flew too close to the portal, and he gets sucked in with the power cell right before it closes.
Oh no! What have I done?
And like, you see, Lighthouse is like, "What the hell did you just do?"
I didn't intend to do that. I will go look after
Can
him
you
right
get him
now.
back?
I can try. So do I roll again?
Yeah, roll again to see if you can get him. Let's just hope this doesn't make it worse.
4.
Okay. Yes, if. Okay. All right. So normally that would mean there's some collateral damage. So, how about you let me choose something at the end of the session that will go with that?
Fine by me.
What do you two guys think?
If you'd like.
I have an
I've
interesting idea way to end the session. So
That's great. Sure. I mean,
okay.
I've put my head in the news how many times for you already? Like 4? I'm good with it.
Okay. Okay. So
I go with it.
Oh wait, hey Stormheart, I couldn't hear you.
Why not just have me caught in the explosion because it explodes when it gets transported? And so I'm knocked out on the other side.
Okay, well when he pulls you back, you're knocked out. But I have an interesting way to end the session. That's why.
I vote if you have an interesting way to end the session, go for it. That's my vote.
Traveler opens up another portal. He reaches through. He brings Stormheart back, but Stormheart is kind of stunned right now, and his costume's a little raggedy from the explosion because he was near the explosion. So Lighthouse goes, all right, which ones are the corrupted cells?
I point out to the box. I point out the box of corrupted cells.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, I already made a mistake once with these things. Someone else opened this, and I can neutralize them.
I will go up and do so.
Okay.
I am well aware of the penalty that I'm suffering, and and Lighthouse will see that I'm starting to basically weaken. My skin goes pale, and I start basically phasing in and out. Like I can't hold myself together. And parts of me are coming in and out. But I open it, and then I try and step back as he's neutralizing.
Okay. So he presses a button on his gauntlet, and a little opening comes up in the side of his armor, and he pulls out this device, and looks kind of like a tricorder from Star Trek. And he presses a couple of buttons, and then he waves it over the open box, and you see that the power cells had a glow. They had like a little faint glow on them that were red, and they start turning blue. And then after he does the defective ones, he just starts waving it over all the other power cells inside the vault, and they all start turning blue until he's finished with them. Then he turns the device off, puts it away. He goes, all right, these won't work anymore.
Okay.
So they won't be used to hurt anyone ever again.
I'm fine with that.
Can we get out of here now? I'm not feeling. I can't see straight. Wait, what? I thought there were. Why are there 4 of you? I'm still in a room full of radioactive items, as far as I know, so I'm still not doing too well.
So you said you're phasing in and out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you solid enough for someone to grab you?
Yeah,
or?
I'm going to collapse solid.
Okay, so
I'm about to collapse.
Lighthouse puts his arm around you, and then he points his other arm and shoots a grappling hook, and he pulls you outside of the building and across the street to the building that he was first on. I assume the other 2 guys are gonna well, I guess it's just Traveler because Stormheart's kind of stunned still.
Stormheart,
so,
right? You said?
Stormheart, yeah. Okay. So Traveler, you take Stormheart. You don't have to roll this time. We're just gonna say you teleport, and so you're all on the roof, and Lighthouse is checking on you. He's like, "Are you okay?"
I will be. I can't be around anything with radiation.
I see.
It renders my cellular makeup unstable.
Oh, well, it's a good thing my armor is shielded because it's powered the same way those weapons were. But I have shielding in my armor, so you won't feel it.
Why humanity deems it necessary to use such things? Well, I think I'll be. I'm feeling better. Yes, I can feel my strength coming back. Thank you, Lighthouse.
So now I just have one question for you. Are you going to stop me from leaving?
No, but do not harm another. Remember the pains remember that each of them has family and children as well.
Oh, believe me, I remember.
I will be there to stop you next time.
Well, just remember that Palin spends his blood money to keep them quiet. And if I was you, I'd keep a close eye on that man. He's not the person that people perceive him to be. He's worse than some of the vilest villains.
I perceive him to be a very bad person with a very bad agenda. So if he's not what I perceive him to be, then that's news to me. But that doesn't mean that you're going about things the right way.
Well, I tried it the legal way. It didn't work. So I do what I have to do to stop him and others like him from converting technology into weapons of destruction. Technology is supposed to help and heal people, not hurt them. And if you try and stop me again, I won't be as nice as I was today. And then he shoots a grappling hook and he takes off.
Okay.
And you see down in the compound that the Paladin guys are helping the guy in the suit. Kind of okay. So as I said, Lighthouse, he used his grappling hook and he took off. You see that down in the facility, some of the Paladin officers are using towels, drying off the guy in the suit, and he's pushing them off like he's irritated with them. And he just looks up and glares at you guys, like he's not very happy with you guys, and he just shakes his head and walks away. So, you guys go ahead and leave, I assume, after that.
Yep.
And
I'm not going to hang around.
So
I was not. He didn't even have the guy in the suit couldn't couldn't shake his head at me because remember I got dropped on another rooftop, so I'm far away already.
So a couple of days after this incident, the police ask you to come back, and they basically wanted to let you know that they received a package and there was a note in there for you guys.
Okay.
And inside is the note basically said, "Hey heroes, you forgot this." And there's a small metal box inside, like a lockbox.
Mm-hmm.
And they go, "Do you want us to open it, or you want to open it, or?"
I'll open it.
Okay, so it gives you the key. You open it, When he opens the box, Mirage, you start feeling a little queasy.
Okay.
It looks like it's one of those. It's like one of those.
This too.
Well, it's basically the letter was addressed from Lighthouse, and what it is, it's one of those defective power cells, and it's been disarmed, but he gave it to you so you could, do whatever you want to do with it, because you guys did say that to him that you wanted to
turn it into the EPA or cops as evidence and such like that.
Yeah, we want to turn it into the EPA.
Yeah, and none of you said anything about taking one, so I figured he took one for you.
By itself, it might not be admissible evidence, but it could be used to open an investigation.
Right. So now you have the evidence that you need to turn it over. So you had a successful mission. And now comes the but. So as you're all there in the police station,
what is at the end?
You hear a noise outside, and you all go to the window, and you see this giant portal like Traveler makes opening in the sky. And then coming out of the portal are these ships.
Oh no.
And you hear this loud voice like emanating over the skies. We do not know why you attacked us, but now comes retaliation.
Okay.
And that's how I'm going to end it.
That's funny.
That was a big if.
So do we
want to
quick reflection? Do we want to do a quick reflection on what we each think of the system before we sign off?
Sure.
Okay. Well, Gerry, why don't you start as the GM?
Okay. Well, I definitely think it's an interesting system. The dice kind of were like not as good as dice rolls weren't as good as you would expect in a regular superhero game. So it does definitely add some interesting narrative complications. I do like how you guys rolled with it. Especially some of the more comedic bits. That was definitely not a direction I was leaning in. I also like the fact that you guys, saw this villain for what he actually is than just being a villain, and tried to, convince him to go a non-violent way, even though he didn't really listen. And then the fact that you guys actually worked with him in the end was an interesting surprise that I wasn't expecting. That was actually kind of cool, I thought, that you were willing to set aside your differences and work with him for the greater good.
We're trying to reflect on the system itself. The
system, I think it could use a little work. Like I said, it was too many. Sometimes it was like too many failures, I thought. But like the middle road was kind of interesting because, like I said, it definitely provides some interesting narrative things. And like you said, Alice, it helps when there are people who are able to buy into that narrative aspect. If you don't have people who can buy into that narrative aspect, it definitely would not work as well. So I could see this appealing to people who are more in touch with narrative games, like maybe Fate or like the world games, because they have that kind of like fiction first kind of thing. But if you're playing with someone who's more used to like champions, it might be a little bit harder for them to kind of grok what the aspects of the if, and, or buts are.
Cool. Well, Fredo, what about you?
Well, I have to agree. I'm not the kind of person to judge this type of game because I tend to prefer more exactly defined results. You know what I mean? Like a power. I don't really like to make up a power out of nothing because then I have to figure out the results on each specific occasion. I had rather have, have everything written ahead of time. Still, for being I think this is the first time I have ever played one of if and or but game. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, for people who like that kind of stuff, I recommend it.
Okay, and Tim Kirk, what about you?
I think it's a really nice, neat, simple system, but it hits a caveat issue that I have with a lot of games in which their target number is a 6 on a D6, which is that's a 33% chance of success. And that is actually really low for superheroes. And I like the middle ground stuff. I like the ability to do that. But I think there needs to be some way to modify, like to give you more yes, but, or yes, ands, or yes, if, and few. It just seems weighted a little too much to that in number 6. And that's a problem I have with, I'm finding with, there's a 66% chance of success, is that you're aiming, no matter how many dice you roll, you're aiming at an incredibly small target number for, unless you're throwing fistfuls, Shadowrun-esque fistfuls of dice out there. And even Shadowrun has learned that 5 and 6 need to be the target number. And you're still throwing 10 dice out there. And I mean, I just wrapped up a campaign in Shadowrun, which is 4th edition, 20th anniversary edition, and they're throwing 8 or 9 or 10 or more dice and getting 1 or 2 successes out of that. And that's so a system that uses, like, you only get the highest and you're only using a D6, it becomes problematic. It's a nice little simple system. I think it could be improved upon by widening that top target number to a 5 and a 6. And then, modifying the events in the middle a little bit, maybe create tighter groups rather than each one result on a die equaling something. But that's it's a nice little game. I think it's got some good ideas. It's got a good heart to it. But it probably needs a little bit of cleanup and examination of long-term playtesting to see just how rare those 6s actually do tend to be in long-term play. Because, believe me, run Shadowrun, you'll see it.
So, for me, I believe that the system has some fun aspects. I believe running it as is works well with a number of genres. However, I do not believe it is suitable for a superheroic or comic book representation of any game. If you want it, because like was said, it turns into a bit of a comedy of errors, and that is not what is iconic in a comic book now, because there's no option to fail forward. There's no additional engine to to improve upon the dice as you fail and gain more options. I do believe that I having dealt with if and but engines on 5 or 6 games now, I believe it is far more narrative and system light than Fate or Savage Worlds or a few of the others that that are listed as system light, having played all those personally as well. My experience is that dealing with Alex and Brandon and a number of other people, and yes, I will call Brandon and Alex specifically, playing in a if and but engine is harder for a lot of people like Alex and Brandon to grasp in their minds than Fate or other system light engines, because this requires a level of flowchart work that in the brain. Hold on. There are people that are gamers that are mechanical thinkers, and then there are abstract thinkers. I am an abstract thinker. This is why I come up with wacko stuff that people are always talking to me about. But when you're dealing with mechanical thinkers, the more narrative that you rely on the system, such as if and but on a single D6, the more difficult it becomes for them to play, as was demonstrated in this demo, I think, because we had players who could not comprehend how that if, and, or, but was really supposed to implement. So I think that there are places where I would play the system for one-shots, not for campaigns, but it would never be under superhero skin again for me. But I'm willing to try it again under another skin. I think that this could be a fun little comedy of errors, Mission Impossible fiasco kind of thing, where you're supposed to go out and do a Mission Impossible thing, and these things keep happening because this is exactly how Mission Impossible happens, and you keep having to try and figure out the next way to overcome as things keep hitting you. Stuff like that, I think this would work. That's my 2 cents. So.
Well, I do know that the author said something about making a more detailed version of the game in the future. Because one of the things that I was thinking of was like what I did in the game, where when you did something, Alice, and then I gave a +1 to Wilfredo because you were cooperating. I think if they had some kind of mechanic for cooperation for certain checks, I think that would help improve the way things are.
And you know me, having played with me quite a bit, I believe in using cooperative checks and bonuses in systems. I go out of my way to make sure that those happen because they work very well. So.
One last thing. Now, the funny thing is they released another game using the same system, and ironically, it's so opposite from superheroes. It's called Simply Cthulhu, and it's basically for playing this system in the Lovecraft mythos, which they've made some changes I'm not too sure about, but I definitely...
it would work in Cthulhu because it is supposed to be that things get worse all the time.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I only skimmed through it. But it's definitely a weird... I just thought it was weird that they went from superheroes to cosmic horror with the same system.
Yeah. Another model this would work for, the system, this engine would work for, is Paranoia. That's another one that this engine would work for.
Oh yeah, definitely.
See, and so I think that there are things in this engine that can work for one-shots if you want to just throw down and play in 10 minutes and just get something going. But I don't think it's suitable for superhero. And I'll play all the other stuff. I mean, Gerry, you know me, I play everything.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, I think if he does some additions to the rules, it might work better for superheroes.
Yes.
But it definitely needs work to fit the superhero genre.
Agreed.
That I definitely agree, especially now in play. I mean, when I read it, I thought it might be difficult, but then seeing the actual, in play difficulties of getting like, yes, but, yes, if, no, but, and it's like, it's not really as super heroic as it could be. So, and the funny thing is, I am in touch with the author on MeWe, not Facebook. Okay. And I'm going to let them know that we recorded this.
Yeah, I'll be posting it later on. But yeah, I'm just going to close out at this point for us. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for joining BWK, Babies with Knives, and you have a wonderful evening. Bye.
Bye.